Hello, my dear students. Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to learn about reproductive morphology of plants, part 2. So, in the last class, we have learned about the inflorescence of the flower, and today we will learn about several features of the plant. That means flower. So, in a plant, which part would you like the most? Of course, it is a flower because of its color and fragrance. The flower is the most significant diagnostic feature of angiosperms. It is a modified, condensed, reproductive shoot. The growth of the flower shoot is determinate. Next, parts of the flower. So it has pistil, petal, sepal, herion, bract, stamen, thalamus, bracteole and pedicel. So these are the parts of the flowers. So generally there are two holes, accessory and essential. Accessory hole consists of calyx and corolla, and essential hole consists of androecium and gynoecium. So the flower is said to be complete when it contains all the four holes. An incomplete flower is devoid of one or more holes. Next, flower 6. Flower 6 refers to the presence or absence of gynoecium and androecium within a flower. First, perfect or bisexual. When a flower contains both androecium and gynoecium, it is called perfect flower. Second, imperfect or unisexual. When the flower contains only one of the essential holes, it is called imperfect flower. It is of two types: staminate flower. So flowers only with androecium alone are called staminate flowers, and flowers with only gynoecium are called histillate flowers. Next, plant 6. Plant 6 refers to the presence and distribution of flowers with different sexes in an individual plant. First one, hermaphroditic. All the flowers of the plants are bisexual. Monoecious. Both male and female flowers are present in the same plant. Example, coconut. Third one, dioecious. Male and female flowers are present on separate plants. Example, papaya and hemera. Fourth one, polygamous. The condition in which bisexual and unisexual, that is staminate and pistillate flowers occur in the same plant, is called polygamous. It is a several types. Example, musa and mangifera. So now we will see about flower symmetry. So the flower symmetry is an important structural adaptation related to pollination systems. There are three types: actinomorphic, zygomorphic and asymmetric. First, actinomorphic. The flowers shows two mirror images when cut in any plane or radius through the center. Normally there are more than two planes of symmetry Example, hibiscus, datura and water lily. So like that, zygomorphic and asymmetric are there. In zygomorphic, the flower can be divided into equal halves in only one plane. In asymmetric, flower lacks any plane of symmetry and cannot be divided into equal halves. So in accessory organs, there comes the perianth. So the position of perianth relative to one another is called perianth arrangement, and it is of three types: cyclic, acyclic and spirocyclic. So if all the floral parts are arranged with definite holes, then it is called as cyclic. Next, calyx. It protects the flower in bud stage. Outermost part of a flower, it is called as the calyx. Unit of calyx is sepal. Normally it is green in color and it is typecast into fusion. Aposepalous, the flowers with distinct sepals, example brassica and annona. So in next, syncephalous, the flowers with united or fused sepals, example hibiscus. Next, duration of flower pods. So what is the green part of green? The flowers with distinct sepals are called as aposepalous, and the flower with united sepals are called as syncephalous, example hibiscus. Duration of flower pods. What is the green part of brinjal fruit? Have you seen similar to this in any other fruits? So based on duration, it is differentiated into four types. First one is caducus, calyx that withers or falls off during the early development stage. Deciduous, calyx that falls soon after the opening of the flower. Persistent, example is brinjal, the calyx that persists for a long time at the base of the fruit. Fourth one is acrescent, calyx that is persistent, grows along with the fruit and encloses the fruit completely. Example, Palmyra. Next one is the shape of the calyx. So it is of bell shaped. So in bell shaped, it is also called as the campanulate, example hibiscus. And it is urceolate, example Withania. Tube shaped, such as in datura, and it is of two-lipped, example osmium. So based on the shape of the calyx, it is differentiated into four types. Next one is corolla. Corolla is the most attractive part in majority of the flowers and is usually brightly colored, and they are differentiated into two types. First one is fusion. One is apopetalous, the petals are distinct, example hibiscus. And next one is sympatalous, petals are fused, example datura. So apopetalous is also known as polypetalous. Sympatalous is also known as gamopetalous. So there are several examples of those. Next we will see about the perianth. So undifferentiated calyx and corolla in a flower is called as the perianth. Each member is called as the tepal. If the tepals are distinct, they are called as apopetalous, and the fused tepals are called as synpetalous. Allium sativum is an example of apopetalous, and Allium cepa is an example of Gamopetalus. Next we will see about the aestivation. So the arrangement of sepals and petals in a flower bud is called as aestivation. They are of 5 types. One is valvate, next one is twisted, then imbricate, vexillary and conceal. So in valvate, margins of sepal or petals do not overlap but they just touch. In twisted, one margin of each petal or sepals overlapping on the other petal. Imbricate, sepals and petals irregularly overlap on each other. So like that there are 5 aestivations are there in the sepals and petals. Next we will see about the essential parts of flower. First one is androecium. So it is the third hole of flower and it is the male reproductive part of the flower. It is composed of stamens. Each stamen consists of 3 parts. They are namely filament, anther and connective. So the anther is the upper swollen part with microsporangia. Filament is the stalk of stamen. Connective, tissue connecting anther lobes with filament. Fusion of stamens refers to the stamens fusing among themselves or with other parts of flowers, and they are of 2 types, conation and adnation. So in conation refers to the fusion of stamens among themselves. It is of 3 types, Adelphi, Syngenesius and Cynandrus. Next one is adnation. So it refers to the fusion of stamens with other floral parts. Epipetalous stamens are adnate to petals, example brinjal and datura. So you can see in the diagram several examples are given. These are the examples of monodelphous, didelphous and polydelphous, and these are all the examples of how the stamens are seen. For example, you can see in the last diagram it is the example of polydelphous. So the filaments conate into many bundles. So in didelphous you can see filaments of stamen conate into 2 bundles, whereas in monodelphous you can see the stamens they does not fuse with other parts of the flower. Okay, so in this picture you can see they are given detail about the fusion of the stamens and what are all its types and the examples. First they have given about the syngeniosis. So the anthers conate and the filaments are free. Next one is Cynandrus. The filaments and the anthers are completely fused together. Whereas in adnation it is of 4 types, epipetalous. Stamens are adnate to sepals. So it is called as the episepalous. Next you can see in the diagram of Syngenesius, you can see the stamens and the filaments conate, whereas the filaments are free. And in the next diagram they have given about the epipetalous stamens. The stamens are adnate to sepals, example silver oak, and it is called as, and in Epiphyllous stamens are alternate to tepals. Example, asparagus. Next, we will see about the arrangement of stamens related to length of the stamens. First one is didynamis. 4 stamens in which 2 with long filaments and 2 with short filaments. Example, ocimum. So in this, all 4 stamens are in 2 equal pairs, then the condition is called as didynamis. In tetradynamis, 6 stamens of which 4 with long filaments and 2 with short filaments. Example, brassica. Next, we will see about the types of the anthers. First one is monothecal. So in this, they have given the example: one lobe with 2 microsporangia. They are kidney shaped in cross section. Example, Malvaceae. Next one is dithecal. In this, it is a typical type having 2 lobes with 4 microsporangia. They are butterfly shaped in cross section, and the example is Solanaceae. Next, we will see about the anther attachment. It is of 4 types: basifixed, dorsifixed, versatile, and adnate. So the base of anther is attached to the tip of filament. This is called as basifixed. Apex of filament is attached to the dorsal side of the anther. Example, citrus. In versatile, filament is attached to the anther at midpoint. Example, grasses. Adnate, filament is continued from the base of the apex of anther. Example, verbena, ranunculus, and nilumbo. Next, we will see about the gynoecium. So the gynoecium or pistil is the reproductive part of the flower. The pistil consists of an expanded basal portion called the ovary, an elongated section called a style, and a apical structure that receives the pollen called the stigma. Ovary with stipe is called as the stipitate ovary. Next, we will see about the carpel. They are components of gynoecium. Gynoecium is made of 1 or more carpels. Carpels may be distinct or connate in nature. So based on number of carpel, it is differentiated into 5 types: unicarpellary, single carpel, example Fabaceae; bicarpellary, 2 carpels, example Rubiaceae, coffee. Next one is tricarpal, 3 carpels, Cucurbitaceae, example Pepo; tetracarpellary, 4 carpels, example Lamiaceae. Then in multicarpellary, many carpels are present, example Nymphaceae. So based on the number of carpels, they are differentiated into 5 types like unicarpellary, bicarpellary, tricarpellary, tetracarpellary, and as multicarpellary. Next, we will see about the fusion of the carpels. It is an important systematic character. Apocarpus gynoecium is generally thought to be ancestral condition in angiosperms. Apocarpus, a pistil contains 2 or more distinct carpels, example Annona. Whereas in syncarpus, a pistil contains 2 or more carpels which are connate, example citrus and tomato. So these are the types based on Fusion of the corpus. The syncorpus is again differentiated into syncorpus unilocular and syncorpus tetralocular. Next, we will see about how, based on the number of locules, the flower is being differentiated. So, the ovary bears ovules on a specialized tissue called placenta. A septum is a cross wall or a partition of ovary. The walls of ovary and septa form a cavity called locule. So, according to the number of locules, they are separated into unilocular, bilocular and trilocular. Unilocular, ovary with one chamber, example groundnut. Bilocular, ovary with two chambers, example mustard. Trilocular, ovary with three chambers, example banana. So like that, tetralocular and pentalocular, ovaries are present according to the locule number 4 and 5. More than one locule ovaries are called as plurilocular. So the extension on the condensed internode of the receptacle. The internodal elongation between calyx and corolla is called as anthopore, and the internodal elongation between the corolla and andrecium is called as andropore, and the internodal elongation between andrecium and gynecium is called as the gynopore. So these three types are based on the extension of the condensed internode of the receptacle. You can see that in the diagram. They are given the example of gynophore and anthrophore. In that you can see the internodal elongation. That means the receptacle would have been elongated. Fourth one is gynophore or androgynophore. The unified internodal elongation between corolla and andrecium and gynecium. Example gynandropis. Next, ovary position. The position of the attachment of ovary related to other floral plots. It may be classified into superior ovary, inferior ovary, half superior ovary. So in superior ovary, it is the ovary with the sepals and petals and stamens attached at the base of the ovary. Inferior ovary, it is the ovary with the sepals and petals and stamens attached at the apex of the ovary. So in half inferior ovary, it is the ovary with the sepals and petals and stamens or hypanthium attached near the middle of the ovary. So the ovaries are of three types: superior ovary, inferior ovary and half interior ovary. Half inferior ovary. You can see in the diagram how the superior ovary, inferior ovary and half superior ovary are present. So it is based on the attachment of ovary to the in relation to the other floral parts. Okay. So next we will see about what is hypogynous, epihypogynous, epigynous, perigynous and epiperigynous. Hypogynous, the term is used for sepals and petals and stamens attached at the base of the ovary, example Malvaceae. Epihypogynous, the term is used for sepals and petals and stamens attached at the middle of the ovary, example Fabaceae and Rosaceae. Epigynous, the term is used for sepals and petals and stamens attached at the tip of an inferior ovary, example cucumber, apple and Asteraceae. and perigynous. The term is used for a hypanthium attached at the base of superior ovary. So next we will see about placentation. The mode of distribution of placenta inside the ovary. So the types of placentation: marginal, you can see those in the diagram. It is with the placenta along the margin of a unicorporate ovary, example Fabaceae. Second name is superficial. Ovules arise from the surface of the septa, example Nymphaceae. Next one is free central. It is with the placentae along the column in a compound ovary without septa, example Caryophyllaceae, Dianthus and Rhymos. Axile. The placenta arises from the column in a compound ovary with septa, example hibiscus, tomato, lemon. Parietal. It is the placenta on the ovary or upon including partitions of a unilocular ovary, compound ovary, example mustard. Basal. It is the placenta at the base of the ovary, example sunflower and marigold. So based on the placentation inside the ovary, this is how they are typecast. So you can see those in the diagram detailedly. So it is very important. They are of marginal, superficial, free central, axile, parietal and basal. So this is how the placentation is there. Next we will see about the construction of floral diagram and floral formula. So a floral formula is a simple way to explain the salient features of a flower. The floral diagram is a representation of the cross section of the flower. It represents floral whorls arranged as viewed from above. Floral diagram shows the number and arrangement of bracteoles and floral pods, fusion, overlapping and placentation. The branch that bear the flower is called mother axis. The side of the flower facing the mother axis is called posterior side. The side facing the bract is called anterior side. Okay, do you understand? Next, there are some acronyms which will be elaborated now. So BR is bracteate, EBR is ebracteate, BRL bracteolate, EBRL ebracteolate. Next symbol is actinomorphic. Next one is zygomorphic. Next one is, one by one I am saying. Next one is staminate. Next one is histillate. Then comes bisexual flower. So one staminate will be there, that is male. Histillate will be the female, and then comes the bisexual flower. K means calyx, C means corolla, A means androecium, G means gynoecium. So in androecium, didelphus, epipetalous staminode will be there. In gynoecium, syncorpus, pistillode, superior, inferior, semi-inferior ovary, indefinite number of units. So like that, many variations are there. So these things will help you in reading and understanding the floral formula. Okay. Do you understand this? Next, they have given several examples of the floral formula and floral diagram of the members of the different floral wholes are surrounded in the concentric rings. So the first one is Hibiscus rosa sinensis. So you can read the floral formula BR as bracteate, BRL bracteolate, actinomorphic, then bisexual flower, calyx 5, then corolla and androecium are united, corolla of 5 and androecium infinite. So like that you can able to read it. So that's all about the flowers. Next we will see about the fruits. We know about several kinds of fruits, but by botanical study we will be surprised to know the types of fruits and how they are produced by the plants. Fruits are the products of pollination and fertilization, usually containing seeds inside. In common perspective, a fruit may be defined as an edible product of the entire gynoecium and any floral part which is sweet, juicy or fleshy, colored, aromatic and enclosing the seeds. So fruits are of three types. They are true fruit, false fruit and parthenocarpic. Ovary that develops into fruit without any non-corollary part is called as true fruit, example tomato and mango. So the development of fruit without fertilization, they are called seedless, example banana. So in false fruit, in addition to the ovary, the non-corollary floral parts like thalamus like in apple, perianth like in jackfruit, and the involucre and perianth English walnut, when it also develops into fruit. So types of fruit, first one is simple fruit. The fruits are derived from a single ovary of a flower, example mango and tomato. The simple fruits are further divided into berry, drupe, hippo, hesperidium, pome and balusta, and dry fruits are typed into dry fruit, indehiscent and schizocarpic. So dry means after maturing the fruit dehiscent will takes place. So next you can see in the tabular column, it has been about the nature of berry, drupe, hippo, hesperidium, pome and balusta. So berry, it develops from bicarpellary or multicarpellary syncarpous ovary, and its helicarp nature is and its epicarp nature is thin. Mesocarp and endocarp are undifferentiated. Example tomato, date, palm, grapes and brinjal. Next one is drupe, monocarpellary, superior ovary, one-seeded. Outer skinny epicarp, fleshy and pulpy mesocarp, and hard and stony endocarp, mango and coconut. Hippo, so likewise it has been given for hesperidium and all. Next we will see about the dry fruit. So dry fruit are of three types: dry dehiscent, indehiscent and schizocarpic. In dry dehiscent comes follicle, legume, silicula, and in capsule septicidal, loculicidal and poricidal. And in indehiscent, achene, cypsela, caryopsis, nut, samara and utricle. And in schizocarpic comes cremocarp, then Horcarulus, Lomentum and Regma. So these are all the types of the dry fruits. So they have been given with the examples. So next we will see about one by one. So in dry fruit, first comes follicle. Fruit develops from monocarpellary superior ovary and dehisces along one suture. Example, Calotropis. Then legume or pod. Fruit develops from monocarpellary superior ovary and dehisces through both dorsal and ventral sutures. Example, Pisum. In Siliqua, fruit develops from bicarpellary syncorpus superior ovary, initially one chambered, but subsequently becomes two chambered due to the formation of false septum called as rupplum. The fruit dehisces along two sutures. Example, Brassica. And next one is Silicula. Fruit similar to Siliqua but shorter and broader. Example, Capsula, Lepidium and Alyssum. Next one is capsule. Fruit develops from multicarpellary syncorpus superior ovary based on the dehiscence pattern. They are divided into they are divided into 6 types. They are septicidal, loculicidal, septifragal, coricidal, denticidal and circumscissal. In septicidal, the capsule splitting along septa and walls remaining attached to septa. So likewise, this is how they are separated. Next we will see about this schizocarpic fruit. The fruit type is intermediate between dehiscent and indehiscent fruit. The fruit, instead of dehiscing, rather splits into a number of segments, each containing one or more seeds, and they are of the following types. Cremocarp. Fruit develops from bicarpellary syncorpus inferior ovary and splitting into two one-seeded segments known as mericarps. Example, coriander and carrot. Carcerulus. Fruit develops from bicarpellary syncorpus superior ovary and splitting into 4 one-seeded segments known as nutlets. Example, Leucas, Ocimum and Abutilon. So an aggregate fruit develops from a single flower having an apocarpous pistil. Each of the free carpel is developed into a simple fruitlet. A collection of simple fruitlets makes an aggregate fruit. An individual ovary develops into a drupe, achene, follicle or berry. An aggregate of those fruits borne by a single flower is known as Itiaro. Example, magnolia, raspberry, annona and polyaltia. Next we will see about a multipolar composite fruit. A multipolar composite fruit develops from the whole inflorescence along with its peduncle on which they are borne. They are of two types. Sorosis, a fleshy multiple fruit which develops from a spike or spadix. The flower fused together by their succulent perianth, and the same time the axis bearing them become fleshy or juicy, and the whole inflorescence form a compact mass. Example, pineapple, jackfruit and mulberry. In Cinchonus, a multiple fruit which develops from hypantodium inflorescence. The receptacle develops and further converts into fleshy fruit which encloses a number of true fruit or echinus which develops the female flower of hypantodium inflorescence. Example, ficus. Do you know Lodacia maldivica is the world's largest fruit. The size of the mature fruit is about 40 to 50 cm in diameter and weighs about 15 to 30 kg. Progesterone, which supports pregnancy, is obtained naturally from a fruit of Balanitis Egyptiaca and Trigulonenophyunum, where it gives progesterone. Function of fruits. The edible part of fruit is a source of food energy for animals. They are source of many chemicals like sugar, pectin, organic acids, vitamins and minerals. The fruit protects the seeds from unfavorable climatic conditions and animals. Both fleshy and dry fruits help in the dispersal of seeds to distant places. In certain cases, fruit may provide nutrition to the developing seedling. Fruits provide source of medicine to humans. Do you know Lupinus articus, a legume family of Arctic tundra, is the oldest viable seed, remained dormant for 10,000 years. Phoenix dactylifera, or a date palm of King Herod's palace near Dead Sea, has viable seed for 20,000 years. Powdered seeds of Moringa oleifera is used to purify the water. Types of seed. Do all fruits contain seeds? No. Haploid fruits do not. The seed is a fertilized mature ovule which possesses an embryonic plant, usually stores food material and has a protective coat. After fertilization, changes occur in various parts of the ovule and they transform into seed. Types of seed. Do seeds germinate as soon as they are dispersed? Based on the number of cotyledons present, two types of seeds are recognized. One is dicotyledonous seed, seed with two cotyledons. Monocotyledonous seed, seed with one cotyledon. So based on the presence or absence of the endosperm, the seed is of two types, endospermous and non-endospermous seed. In endospermous seed, the cotyledons are thin, membranous and mature seeds. In non-endospermous seed, the food is utilized by the developing embryo, so the mature seeds are without endosperm. Next, significance of seeds. The seeds encloses and protects the embryo for next generation, and it contains food for the development of embryo. It is a means for the dispersal of new individual of the species, and they are the basis of agriculture. So with this the lesson is getting over. Hope you got the timetable and portions for the first midterm test. So all the best, boys and girls. Write the test in a good way, don't copy. All the best again to all of you.